Hello, so who's heard about Trees for Life before? Okay, most people. Who's not from South Australia? Yeah. So I'll just give you a quick overview of who we are. That gives you a little bit of context. That's one of our bush care sites. So our purpose is conserving, restoring habitat in South Australia. We're a state-based environmental NGO. We've been here for 42, 43 years. Started all by volunteers growing seedlings. Have expanded significantly since that time. Very much volunteer-driven, people-powered, but we also have about 50 staff. And the programs and activities we deliver really focus on revegetation and on bush regeneration. A lot of work around threatened species, and we really focus on getting people involved in helping to look after the land. We work with a lot of partners, so at least 20 councils, most of the landscape board regions, Green Adelaide, increasingly quite a lot of corporates keen to get involved too. Which button did I press? There we go. So, so Trees for Life, like a lot of organisations, long-term work, quite a lot of repeat sites, but also interventions, get grants, go in, do your work, leave again. It's very expensive and challenging to look at those long-term impacts. We really want to be able to demonstrate the long-term benefits and impacts of on-ground nature restoration work. It's really important to do that, both so we can learn, particularly in a changing climate, but also to demonstrate value for money, that are we actually achieving what we set out to achieve. We have invested in some science over the years, but this opportunity came up and we really want to look at how we could trial some citizen indicators that are focused on habitat, to look at how we can embed those into our programs and providing an opportunity for our volunteers and landholders to be involved in being part of that for us. So we're really going to look at a suite of maybe 10 to 15 habitat indicators, and then look at ensuring that they also fit in with South Australian biological database requirements. There's obviously a lot of other opportunities to integrate that data. We're sort of making the assumption that we'll be able to train up about 50 citizen scientists. It's quite ambitious, and after listening today we might scale it back a bit. We were due to start this year. We've delayed it. Made the strategic decision to delay it so we can learn from the projects that have already started. That's how I'm reframing it. And we were going to look at 15 Bush for Life sites, 5 in 3 different landscape board regions, so Green Adelaide, Hills and Fleurieu region, and the Northern York region. So we've got bush care sites across all those regions. 5 tree scheme sites, so that's where landholders order seedlings from us and plant on their properties. It might be conservation projects or more of a farming productivity lens, but nearly always there's some sort of conservation outcome in mind. Many of those landholders have been planting for 20, 30 years. Some people come in and out, but a lot of very long-term projects. And then we're looking at doing a couple of direct seeding sites in those locations as well. So that direct seeding is broadacre revegetation, large-scale revegetation, where you put the seeds directly in the ground, and we did 600 hectares in the current year. So quite a lot of re-veg goes in that way. So obviously it needs to be cost effective and a way we can scalable, which is why citizen science seemed like a good option for this, both in terms of capacity building and participation, cost effectiveness and scalability. So that was some of the really key drivers for us. And we do want to learn and share with others. So I think it is tricky, it is a challenging environment. We're aware that TURN have developed a whole suite of protocols around measuring outcomes from Commonwealth Government funded projects. But how do we apply those at smaller scale for smaller projects, and how do we get some consistency as well? It seems to be the holy grail of measuring impact. So I imagine if we make a small contribution towards that, then that'll be a great outcome. So one of our bush carers. So what will we do? We'll be, looking at first consolidating the data. We have some draft indicators. We need to test those and bring some more people into the conversation around what are going to be effective indicators, and also ideally the same indicators you can use in different settings, so for bush care and for revegetation, but that also needs testing. Some sort of data collection, probably using what's out there already. We want to be able to make sure we're in the process of trying to develop our own organisational-wide GIS system. Like a lot of NGOs, it's been very fragmented and piecemeal, and we have a couple of programs that do it really well, and most of the rest is very scattered, and a lot of data is still in Excel spreadsheets. We want to make sure we set that up from the beginning, and we probably will have pragmatically paper collection for some people as well. Looking to recruit possibly and hopefully existing landholders and bush carers and potentially other volunteers who are already involved who want to be doing this. We have some very, very active participants in iNaturalist amongst our volunteers, and some very, very capable scientists, often quite self-trained through the work that they've done. I'm not a scientist, by the way. I'm not a social scientist either. I'm a generologist is what I call myself. So I mentioned a lot of data collection sites. I think we will look at piloting. We're looking at doing 3 iterations, and maybe we'll start with a smaller pilot. The training is going to be a really big part of it, and it's good to learn what we've heard today about the different modes of training. Like today, my colleague who is the project manager for this would be here, but it's one of our first propagation training workshops for those growers, people who are volunteering to grow seedlings in their backyards. And we offer that now online with videos and face-to-face and a written book. So and there's a lot of resources involved in doing that. I've mentioned the different programs included. And in terms of how we're going to manage it, we have got an internal project manager. We will be looking at recruiting someone to help. There's a lot of moving parts in a project this wide, just to keep that communication flow. So recruitment, integrating the training, keeping all the people informed, all the partners. We'll have a steering committee of some kind with the partners to keep everyone on board and on the same page, and make sure it does have that co-design element. And as I mentioned, that habitat indicator side is going to be really critical to getting some external input. Some of you know Martin Breed. He's on our board too and chairs our technical advisory committee, so he'll obviously play an important role too. And that's about it. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, thanks.